As you would all know, Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 are coming soon. I haven't uploaded Deltarune in a long time, so before this game takes over my life, I'm going to spout nonsense that I call predictions. Very sorry for my absence. I was very busy being depressed. Hopefully Toby Fox can save me from that with his wonderful creation of Deltarune Chapters 1 through 4. When asking my community tab for video ideas on this game, I got a suggestion for Deltarune Chapters 3 to 4 predictions. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Not on a script, by the way. I like improvising my videos because I'm too lazy to write a script and then read off it. I would also like to take a quick second to thank everyone for getting me to 2,000 subscribers. This is a great achievement. Way bigger than 1,000 because 1,000 happened years upon years ago. And just the massive spike I've gotten since doing Deltarune content has been wonderful. Anyways, taking a look at the final cutscene of Chapter 2, we can see Chris opening a dark fountain. This dark fountain has long since been established to create a TV world. What I want to bring to attention, though, is the fact that this TV world is being created at nighttime. And with Chris, Susie, and Toriel all in the area, we might be ending up in a way darker dark world than before. Simply because, unlike the other dark worlds, the outside is dark too. Though in the end this could mean absolutely nothing at all because the teasers we've seen of Chapter 3 look exactly as lively as the other chapters. How about a discussion that matters more than that? If you've been keeping up with the Deltarune newsletters, you'd know about the ARG thing that came out in the last one. When heading to the URL deltarune.com/chapter, insert number 1, 2, or 3. You will be greeted with text that says either applicable or not applicable. Very, very interestingly, if you go to Chapter 3, you'll find not applicable, but. So, Chapter 1 says not applicable, Chapter 2 says applicable, Chapter 3 says not applicable, but. Let's put this in context of another page. When you go to deltarune.com/chapter 5, you'll be greeted with a bunch of numbers on your screen, 1 through 5. But chatter, what do you mean 1 through 5? I only see 2, 4, and 5. Well, if you were to highlight all these numbers with your cursor, you would see that there's actually 1 through 5 here, 3 is hidden, and 1 is just very, very small. 1 doesn't take you to anything, 2 takes you to this. The invisible 3 takes you here. And 5 takes you to this. I believe that deltarune.com/chapter 1, 2, 3, and 5 are all linked. 1 on the site with all the numbers plays nothing, and 1 is not very visible there. 1 also says not applicable. 2 is very big, the biggest number on the screen, and when pressed, it plays Birdly Encounter from Snowgrave, which is not a part of the soundtrack, and I believe in the files is called d.ogg, I think. 3 is hidden, but very big, about as big as 2, and plays a weird little whooshing sound. The website for Chapter 3 also says not applicable, but. Not even getting to the 4 or 5 on the screen, I believe that the 1, 2, and 3 all link to the Chapter 1, 2, and 3 websites, with Chapter 1 saying not applicable and not playing anything, perhaps suggesting that your choices don't matter there. Chapter 2 not only being very big and visible, but playing Birdly Encounter, and the website for it saying applicable. I think that these numbers and websites correlate to how drastic your choices are in each chapter. Chapter 1 being hidden and very small, to me, correlates to the fact there is only a slight difference in cutscene ending depending on your choices. While Chapter 2 obviously has a ton of recruits that you can't get if you use violence, has the Snowgrave route, and just so much that can change. Chapter 3, however, being hidden but as big as 2 and saying not applicable but, leads me to believe that it is another weird route that can only be activated if you've done this Chapter 2 weird route prior. I want to believe that Chapter 3 is going to have a weird route that ties with the Chapter 2 weird route. I would also like to believe that Chapter 4 will not have a weird route because not only does the number take you to something completely different, the link for chapter4.com takes you to somewhere completely different. And the 4 is much smaller than the 2. I would like to predict that Chapter 4's only major difference is not being able to recruit some people if you use violence, and thus changing how your castle town reacts. Finally moving on, going to /ROMB takes you to these double doors. The header for this website is "No one will shed a tear for him." Who is him? No, seriously, who is him? I know we have another him, which relates to Gaster, obviously. If you're not caught up on Gaster stuff, I highly recommend watching this video. It's a great video and tells you pretty much everything you need to know about Gaster, and their follow-up video, just in case. But him might refer to, let's say, Spampton, King, Jevil, maybe a future secret boss, because, I mean, I'd assume maybe Spamton or a future secret boss. I feel like that would be more suitable for something like this. The double doors on the screen obviously suggest an entrance to a dark world. That door color doesn't really remind me of anything though, other than maybe Toriel's house. I guess that could be the dark world for Toriel's house, which is Chapter 3. As we already know, Chapter 3's dark world is Toriel's house, and it's a TV world because it was opened right next to the TV. The TV, named Tenna, is obviously the main antagonist of Chapter 3. Look, I'm not here to deep dive into lore, I'm here to make predictions. If you want some videos diving into lore, go look up a video essay or something, man. You're not getting that out of me. Since I almost forgot, let's hop back to Deltarune / Chapter 5 or whatever it was called. Clicking on the 5 takes you to a somber song played by a guitar. This relates to Des. I don't care, it does. We are shown in an earlier ARG this exact same guitar played on a guitar. You know, find her, who's missing, Des, Noel's sister, you know. This isn't a Chapter 3 and 4 prediction, but I'd like to predict that Des will have some involvement in Chapter 5, whether it be opening a dark fountain, being found, or something like that. Who knows, maybe Des could be a secret villain or turn up dead or something like that. Let's talk about some more, predictions than just, lore deep dives and all that. Let's talk about actual predictions. I'm gonna try and jump away from the ARGs for a little bit because I am here to make predictions based on what Toby has shown us. So let's go back to that trailer and the screenshots. This right here is what I assume is Green Room, a room in Chapter 3. I would like to predict that this is similar to Queen's main hall or main entrance to her castle. The reason we call it Green Room is because of the song that Toby showed us called Green Room, and the room having green walls and whatever. Green Room is a much better remix of Hip Shop. Recently, some uploads of Toby's self-leaked OST is being taken down and copyright striked. This includes Green Room, which to me confirms that Green Room will be a part of the Deltarune Chapter 3 soundtrack if that wasn't obvious already. The reason these things are being stricken down is because of copyright laws. Like, if the official thing posted it somewhere and it has copyright, like Material Collective, whatever, it just takes down re-uploads of it. So since the official thing, I want to assume Toby Fox has all of the OST on private right now on Spotify or YouTube or something like that. Let's go 2 months back in time and discuss the trailer. We can see Chris lifting up Susie here, but Rouse just comes in from behind for some reason. I don't know why. Looking closely at the fade to white, we can see Shadow Man here. This is to me nothing more than concrete proof that Shadow Man is going to be a recruit. Also relating to Shadow Man, this looks like the spare minigame that you'll have to do to spare Shadow Man. You can tell how much effort went into Chapter 3 and 4 because, oh my god, the quality of that minigame is far exceeding anything we've seen from Chapter 1 and 2. This right here, absolute cinema. It's beautiful. We love Chris. We love Chris Deltarune. But, this, for real though, looks like a little minigame that you'll be able to do. Toby Fox said himself that he's trying not to make it way too difficult, which is nice. I like that. I like that a lot. The showing of everyone on the stage implies to me that this is a part of Chapter 3. And this song that plays while doing this will have lyrics, which is interesting. It's also very notable that Rouse is on the stage for Lighteners Live. Are you a fan of Alvin Knight? Well, it's a good day to be you, or it was 2 months ago, because this looks like the inside of the church and the color schemes look very suspicious. Likely they're inside of the dark fountain right now, they're falling down into a darker depths, or it's just the lighting of the area to add more atmosphere. Those windows are definitely church windows. Here's a cutscene showing Tenna and Chris and Susie running in the church. And here's a cutscene from what was probably an opening. So, now that we're done with that, let's cover, let's make a little drawing board of what I think is going to happen in these chapters. So here, we'll mark Chapter 3, right? This is Chapter 3. This is the start of Chapter 3. Everyone, right here, boom, they fall into the dark world. Only Chris, Susie, and Toriel are in the dark world. Rouse is gonna, they're gonna travel a little bit, and then Rouse is gonna find a way to get into the dark world, which is interesting. To me, I feel like Rouse will end up in this dark world again, because Rouse just does that. So yeah, here we get the party, right? Toriel might have a Birdly case, where you don't use Toriel as a party member, but she is definitely a Lightener in the dark world. Next, we're going to move forward a little bit and, stumble across a nice area with a nice mini-boss or whatever. All that. And I think somewhere around, let's assume this is the midpoint, right? let's say there's going to be a weird route. Let's say, okay, so this right here, this part right here, let me get a different color. Blue for Snowgrave. This part right here is assuming that you have done the Snowgrave route. And on this file, you'll be able to go forward and do the weird route, right? Boom, weird route. Let's assume it ends there. Let's assume this is the end of the chapter, right? Let's go back to the normal route. Assume somewhere around here you meet Tenna, and let's assume here at the midpoint you can do something secret boss related. Let's just go down here and secret boss. We'll write an S. SB for secret boss, not Smash Bros. And you'll be able to move forward. A lot of stuff's gonna happen, you know, just as the game goes. And then you'll have your final battle against Tenna or whoever. Maybe Tenna might actually not be a bad person. There might actually be a different boss or antagonist. But you'll have your final battle against the antagonist. You'll continue on, and you'll meet the end of the chapter. Green Room. I feel like Green Room is going to be a slightly endgame thing. So let's say Green Room is right here. Let's say that's Green Room. The guitar thing. The rhythm game thing. I think the little rhythm game is going to be also an early game area. So let's say this is right here. The Switch 2 room with the mouse pad controls that I think I cut out. I feel like that's also going to be somewhere around here. So let's mark this as mouse control area. So yeah, there's that. It's my chapter 3 sketch. Hope you guys like it. Look at that, the secret boss, you know. Because there has to be a secret boss because of the Shadow Mantle thing. And, you know, no crystal, no Shadow Mantle, or whatever. And the fact that there's a secret boss every chapter, because why the fuck would there not be? We move a little forward, right? Let's assume this is where the chapter ends. And normal ending leads to it. Snowgrave ending leads to it. All the same, right? Now, we go on a linear path, right? That's chapter 4. Boom. Big line. Big chapter 4 line right here. Big chapter 4. Okay? So, let's assume they don't end up in the church or anywhere near around the start of the chapter, right? Actually, hold on. Let me do something. Since chapter 2, the Snowgrave, since that relates to chapter 3, let's assume here's where Snowgrave starts, or weird route, right? Let's do a darker blue. This is gonna lead, so let's assume Burley's found dead right here, if Burley is actually dead. There is a chance Burley could be alive, but we're not gonna discuss that here, because that's like theories. I'm not going to predict whether Burley is alive, because I have no side in that argument. But let's go a little over here. And let's assume that stuff is already weird because chapter 3 leads into this. Chapter 3 follows chapter 2 perfectly, including the weird route because not applicable, but let's assume that. And there you go. There's my chapter 3 map, you know, how you like it. Let's go to chapter 4. Chapter 4, let's assume, starts right here, fell into the church right here. Or no. So, Toby Fox has talked about, like, save points in the light world or whatever. I feel like in chapter 4, we might have a large light world segment. So, let's assume this is the light world, right? Big segment right here. Now, let's assume this is the dark world. This is the church. And all the chaos happens in the church. Whoa, chaos. Like Jebel. Snowgrave? No, X that out. There's no Snowgrave in this route. I'm going to assume there's no weird route at all. Let's assume we might go back to the light world and into the dark world again. I'm just shouting gibberish at this point. But yeah, let's assume secret boss on the second trip. So, boom, SB. There's your secret boss right there on your second trip to the dark world. And we're gonna meet Alvin, who created the fountain, right? I believe that Alvin creates the fountain here because not only is it the church, there's also dialogue. suggesting that Alvin is a not good person, which has been talked about many times. But here, let's assume right here, A for Alvin. Alvin creates the fountain right here. I don't even know what I did with this dot. I have no fucking idea. I just put it somewhere. Let's assume that since in the trailer we see Rouse is not here, we're gonna assume this is the part where there's no Rouse. Then right here, Rouse shows up. Because we know Rouse does show up, but we know Rouse isn't there all the time. So then we draw the line. We keep going. Obviously, Rouse can't come to the light world because Rouse is a darkener. So, boom, no Rouse. We go back here. We go a little bit. Rouse is back. Final boss of the chapter, which we know nothing about probably. I'm going to assume secret boss here or here is Mike. Let's assume right here, Mike. And I'm going to assume Mike is the cat with the funny face. You know, here's the Mike, here's the Mike. Here's the Mike cat. And draw a funny... Oh my god. There's your Mike cat, right? There's Mike the cat, you know? There's a lot of ARG shit telling that Mike might be a cat. Go watch Two Left Thumbs video, man. I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking gibberish. I just wanted to get a funny video out. Okay, so... Here, let's assume we're at the end of the chapter, right? Everything's going back to the light world. Let's assume there's not that much dark world and a lot of light world focus. Okay? Sound good? Chapter ends here. Big cliffhanger for the next 7 years. Boom. I'm going to be doing a playthrough, by the way.